Hi there, this is Craig Beck from StopDrinkingExpert.com. Today's little video is about, it's about people who are worried about being bored without alcohol. A lot of people, myself included, back when I was a drinker, were drinking because they were bored or lonely. And actually, I've had an email off Jane, let's call her Jane. She says that she's been sober for 11 months, but one thing she misses is kind of that little buzz that alcohol gave her. The fact that it made things more exciting, more interesting, and life could be a little bit boring without alcohol. She said, is there anything I can replace that with? So I just want to talk about the reality, because like everything that alcohol says it gives you, it's an illusion. Every single thing that you can name as a benefit of alcohol is an illusion. For example, a lot of people believe that they can't get to sleep without alcohol. A lot of people believe that alcohol helps you go to sleep. And of course it does to a certain extent, but it's not proper sleep. And you don't stay asleep. Generally you wake up after a few hours with a racing heartbeat, dehydrated mouth, and you feel terrible and you struggle to get back to sleep. Actually what it does is just knock you out, but that's not sleep. So it's an illusion. So we believe it gives us sleep, but it's actually giving us something else. Same is true as a lot of people believe there's nothing more thirst quenching on a hot summer's day than a freezing cold pint of beer. This makes no sense at all, because alcohol dehydrates you. And it's also a diuretic, so it makes you urinate more. So actually it sucks the moisture out of your body. But still, we believe nothing quenches thirst better than a freezing cold pint of beer. It's because it's so woven into the fabric of society. So, does alcohol make life more exciting? Does it help with boredom? And the truth is, look, alcohol is not a smart, super magic liquid. It has no special ability to change outside situations or events. It's the byproduct of rotting vegetables. That's all it is. It's what oozes and leaks out of fruit when it goes bad. I don't know who the first person who was who looked at it and went, I'm going to drink that. But that's what it is. It's the poison that comes out of fruit when it goes bad. It's not some sort of NASA-designed smart liquid that can change things and make them better. So if it's not making life more exciting, if that's not really happening, what is happening? Well, let me tell you. What alcohol is an anesthetic, a mild one and an ineffective one. That's why if you go back a few hundred years when they had to cut your leg off, they gave you some rum. Now, obviously, if you need your leg cutting off, ideally you want a lot more than rum, but that's all they had. Even then, they knew it was a mild anesthetic. So what does an anesthetic do? So when you go to hospital to have an operation, they inject you with a general anesthetic. Now, unlike alcohol, that's a very potent, very efficient, very strong chemical that has an impact on the way the brain operates. And what it does is it slows the brain activity down. Let me go a bit old school on you here. Hopefully this resonates with some people at least. You remember when you used to have a turntable record player and you would put an album on it or a single on it that was supposed to play at 45 RPM. And you would just flick it down to 33 RPM just to see what it sounded like, and it would go whoa, and slow down. That is what the anesthetic is doing to your brain. It's just slowing everything down so that your brain becomes less capable. It can't do all the things that it wants to do anymore because it just hasn't got the processing power. And when you're in for an operation, basically it renders you as close to brain dead as possible. Your brain slows down so much that at the most, all it can do is keep your vital organs functioning. And sometimes not even that, they have to do it artificially. But you can't even dream when you're that close to brain death. You certainly can't process pain signals from remote regions of the body. So this is how a general anesthetic works. When you drink alcohol, it has the same effect, but to a lesser degree. So alcohol slows your brain down. So now it can't function at the same pace or capacity that it did before you drank the anesthetic. So basically it's retarding your function as a human being. Let me make it very, very clear and very, very simple. Alcohol makes you stupid. This is why people drinking can sit in a bar for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours and find everything hilarious. Have you ever been the sober guy in a bar when a bunch of your friends have been drinking for like 5 hours? You turn up and they're laughing at nothing. Somebody says something that doesn't make sense. Everyone finds it hilarious. When you're sober in that situation, it just looks bizarre, doesn't it? You look at it and go, what are they laughing at? And it's because they're stupid. Their brains have been impaired by the poison. And so now it doesn't take much to entertain them. Take a look at this picture. This is one of my dogs. We have 3 rescue dogs. This is Zoya. She turned up at our gate injured about a year ago now. And we took her in. Now, to Zoya, that ball is the most exciting thing on planet Earth. I mean, seriously, she wets herself when you go to reach for the ball. We had to take it off her. She used to, because she would just try and get you to play with it all day long. That ball is the most fascinating thing in her life. She loves it. And it just keeps her, she entertains for ages with it. And do you know why Zoya finds that ball so entertaining? Because she's stupid. That's why. It doesn't take much to keep her entertained. We tried her at chess. She couldn't really master the rules of the game, but she did want us to throw the pieces for her. So what I'm saying to you is, if you're missing alcohol because some things are not as exciting or as interesting as they were before, or you feel a little bit bored, I want to ask you a very powerful and profound question. When you get to the end of this journey, imagine it, you're 80 years old, you're lying on your deathbed with your family around you, and you look back, you reminisce about your life. Do you really think you're going to lie there and say, I wish I'd spent more time as a stupid zombie, not quite aware of what's going on and laughing at nothing like an imbecile? Do you really think that? If you're missing this from your life, are you really saying to me now, in a sober, logical state of mind, are you really saying to me, Craig, I really miss being stupid? I really wish I was a bit more thick, because I hate having this mental capacity to do things and create things and help people and make a difference in this world. It's such a pain. I just wish I was stupid. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Who would want that? Who would want that? It's an illusion. What you have to do is make a shift in your life, make a paradigm shift, and use this time, use this processing power to create, to do something, to make a difference in this world. I had a coaching session with a guy a few weeks back, and he told me he was making $500,000 a month. But he was miserable and unhappy because he was drinking himself into a coma every night. Can you imagine what that guy could do with 100% of his brain capacity? If with 60, 70% of his brain, he's making $500,000 a month, can you imagine what this guy is capable of without an anesthetic in his system 24/7? The mind boggles. So stop limiting yourself by wanting to go back to being stupid. It's a crazy aspiration. Nobody really logically aspires to be more stupid. Okay, I hope that helps. I'm not going to bleat on any more about it. If you have questions, you know how to get in touch with me via the website, www.stopdrinkingexpert.com. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you are interested in coming to one of the live seminars, go to the website now, check the dates and reserve your place, because when they're gone, they're gone. And I only come to one city once a year. So don't sentence yourself to another 365 mornings of guilt and regret. Book in for the seminar today. Thanks for watching.